We've got a special guest today that we want to show some of our new Rough Rider and Marbles knives to. You got to see who this is. Let's light it up. Oh! What is happening, everybody? TC here with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com. We got the one and only Tobias Gibson. Tobias, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. Now, folks, we've got some knives here. They're brand new. Tobias hasn't seen them yet.
I've seen the box.
You've seen the boxes, but hasn't actually had them in hand yet. No. And so we wanted to kind of show you some of the new stuff that we've got from Rough Rider because you are the aficionado online as far as Rough Rider goes. So we wanted to show you these and give you some hints at some stuff that we've got coming up. These are the samples that we got sent, and these are going to be going live very soon. Brian, we're going to be getting these in pretty soon, right?
Yes. A lot of them are already in. We're just waiting to check them.
Right.
Check them in.
Okay. So let's go ahead and take and we'll start opening because you wanted to look at these on camera first. You didn't want to see them in advance.
And that way I can tell you if I'm going to buy it or not.
Absolutely. So first one here is going to be a bow trapper, and that one's going to be a little bit different.
Well, I see already something pretty cool on there.
What's that?
Is that G10 or is that micarta?
That's G10.
So, but the handle is micarta.
G10 with G10 inlay, and it's going to be the layered G10 there, and that's where they get the grain pattern there.
Yeah, it's like the frostwood.
Yeah,
but it's in red and black G10. You did something similar with marbles a while back. With the, G10 and micarta. I prefer G10, and the reason I prefer G10 is because G10's better than micarta.
Right.
It's micarta's been around for 100 years. G10 is new.
Yep.
And so it's funny. It's like, well, it's a modern folder. It's got G10 on it, or then it is.
Yeah.
Modern folder, micarta. You could have micarta on. Actually, I think they used to call it faux ivory.
Right.
They had a white linen micarta that was faux ivory.
Yep. I like G10 just because, it's one of those it's good and durable in a lot of different conditions.
It takes a beating, but the cool thing here is right here. I don't know if you saw that, but the red fox.
And we can show that up close, too.
1X.
So we can show that.
It's not the other one. Louise didn't die or anything like that. Oh, there. I see. Wow, I'm not used to having so many cameras here. This is crazy.
So yeah, so this is a G10 with a G10 inlay, and then you can actually see the liner right there.
Yeah.
And how that's situated. And Brian, our in-house designer, did a great job with these.
And Brian's sitting over there hiding.
Yep. He doesn't want to be on camera.
He's going to have to come out here soon because I got some stuff for you guys. For those wondering, right there, how do you do that? How do you show that? It's like, got to get it in, like that. Right?
Yep.
Then you got to turn it. Like that. For those who are always curious, right there, this has got really good blade alignment.
Yeah. And half stops, of course.
Oh yeah.
You know and love from us.
And no big R.
No big R. I knew you'd love that.
I said it many a time. The thing with the big R is I did not mind it occasionally. I did not like it
all the time. Right.
And that was the killer. Moose.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest. That is my least favorite traditional folder pattern.
The moose?
Yeah.
But this is like what the real trappers carried.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like this one with the I think you call it a Texas spade or something like that.
Right.
And one of the reasons is it really is more just basic skinning blade and such. And it's really good for peeling your apple and such like that. But I agree with you. It's not one of my favorites. I think I got like 3, 4. And the reason I got so few of them is because needed it for the white smooth bone and for the tortoiseshell.
Yep.
And for the Stonework series. Otherwise, I'd probably not buy them. But it's well made. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. It's just typical Rough Rider quality. So the person who collects these things would really like. I would really like this.
Yeah, that inlay just turned out
It
beautifully.
it is so smooth. It's so flush right there.
And I will tell you, Brian really stood his ground on that, and we wanted to make sure that these were well done, especially for the price point. I mean,
Well, I don't know what the price point is, but
so what are these coming in at, Brian?
I'm guessing
$16.99?
22? Oh,
They're regular Rough Rider.
so
price,
okay, so
$20 or $120.
Under, yeah,
okay, I was thinking about 22 or so, but so I was a little high. What's this one? Oh, that's the Stockman. Oh, sow belly. Sow bellies are really popular among people, and there's a reason for it. It's if there was a standard Stockman, this should
Yep.
be it.
Absolutely, I agree.
I know it's basically just a fat serpentine Stockman, but because of it being a fat blade, you have so much more. Well, the fatter the handle, the wider the blade, and that's really what makes the difference on this.
Right.
So this is much more functional to me than the skinnier blades. And
I've always really loved a Stockman. That's always what my pawpaw carried, working on the farm. He was a cattle farmer for a really long time. One of those Florida crackers is what he was lovingly referred to as. So, he always carried a Stockman because that's
Big
what
one,
he always
little one?
needed. Actually, I don't know if I've got it on me today or not. I might. Let me see. This was the last one that he carried right here.
oh, that's the what is it, 28? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I said it.
In CV.
This is actually of the case Stockmans. This is well, it's a hard choice. They've also got that little cigar Stockman that I like too, but I like this one better than the typical one. 32, the 32
32
Stockman.
pattern. Yeah.
And one of the reasons I like it is because it's got the pin blade there.
Yep.
But it's so easy to turn a spade blade into a pin blade anyway. And that's the most popular bone cover that Case uses, right?
Yep.
The peach seed amber dig. I remember Tony Watkins talking about these a long time ago. He's like, if you're going to be collecting case knives and you want to get all of them, then go for this.
Right.
And you'll be able to get every case knife imaginable in this case amber peach seed. It's not going to go away.
Right.
But if you want to collect case knives and try and make a profit off of it, you got to get stag.
These are everywhere, stag, baby.
It's like, and these are the ones
Everywhere.
They're everywhere. So
yeah,
their value doesn't go up as much, but they're the knives you really want.
Right. Exactly.
It's a really good quality. And there's my favorite, right? Hey, you poked a hole in there.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you how you felt about that. That was one of those things that Brian and I talked about, and he goes, I think we might get a little hate on this one because of that.
You will.
That lanyard too, but I don't know. I kind of like it. As I've gotten more accustomed to carrying modern folders, especially with my traditional folders, I like having a lanyard on them, at least a small one. So
a real lanyard, not something that's all fancy.
Right.
Yeah, like something that you can actually pull it out.
Like a piece of leather that's maybe like done like that, tied up.
Where is it at? Will I knock everything loose? Like that.
Yep, exactly. Something that's used.
A shoelace. Because you can get it out of your pocket. You can find it. That's the good part about it. But the thing is I know trapper fans are going to go, you put a hole in my bolster. Why'd you put a hole in my bolster? And it's like, and if you don't use them, then you're not going to like them. But I tell you what, I'd rather have a lanyard hole in here than a pocket clip on it.
Yes.
I know it's me, but putting a pocket clip on a traditional knife like this just looks goofy.
Yeah.
And it's going to put holes in there that you cannot fill in.
Right.
This one, at least, it's a hole. It's there for a reason. You can kind of see why it's there. And you never know. You can always add some decoration. And one of the things that people like are those fobs. So if you got a fob on there, you got a little more length on there.
Yeah.
So, and
then, of course, we've got the same patterns, same 4 patterns in the Arctic Fox.
We went through all 4 of those already?
Yeah, yeah. And we've got the same 4
wow.
patterns in the Arctic Fox. So this is going to be,
G10?
again, G10. And it's got that nice ivory G10 look to
Wow.
it. Now that's one of my favorites.
I like the, so you're going to come out with the Black Fox too?
Well, the next one after that one is going to be the Desert Fox.
Okay, is it going to be the reverse?
No.
Okay, something close.
It's going to be Desert Tan, orange and black.
It's orange and black with the.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Fox shield.
Orange Fox?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's different patterns there, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I could sit here. There's no reason to review them. The quality is what the quality is of every other Rough Rider out there. So, are these 440A?
Yes.
440A.
And I know a lot of people like the carbon steel and everything, but quite frankly, I prefer the 440A.
Yeah.
I'm one of those weird ones that. And one of the reasons is it's really easier to take care of. And I think you guys do no offense, but I think you do a better job with the 440A than the T10 carbon.
Okay.
And I think the reason is length of time that you've been
using
working
it.
with this 440A. So you know what you're doing with it. And the T10 carbon is something new.
So that's going to be a standard
That's about
Stockman
as
right
classic as
there.
you can get.
Yeah. Whereas I showed you the Salbilly Stockman
Yeah,
with
and that's
the
the-
red fox there.
Yeah.
And then that one.
Now, with these knives, are they going to have the same ones in both?
Yes, the same
Okay.
patterns will be available in both sets. Well, actually in all 3 sets.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you going to? How many? What's the series going to run? 7 or 8?
How many patterns are we going to have in each?
Right now, I think there's 7. I'd have to check.
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
this knife when I first saw it, it's like this is the stupidest knife I've ever seen. And then when I'm serious, I did. And then when I put it in my hand and actually did something with it, it's like you got exactly what you need. You've got a blade that you can cut with, and it's very light. You know, this is not something you're going to go take on the world unless your world is the office world. But if you need to cut open boxes, if you need to
Yep.
peel an apple, you got everything you need. And I compared it to the the case desk knife,
Mhm.
because this thing is almost like the case desk knife, except it's got a different handle.
Yep. It's got that coffin handle.
You know, instead of and that is the kind of cool thing about it. And this thing just drops in the hand. It feels really good in the hand.
And I'll be honest, Warncliffe blades are not my favorite, but they're great work blades, and I love them for a steak knife.
Yeah.
For like a pocket steak knife, I love them for that. Aesthetically, they're not my favorite, but I mean, it works perfect on that knife right there.
Yeah, I still would like to see this with a pin blade.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, and if you had it in a pin blade, you could actually put a wider blade into there and still drop it into that, and it would look really good. But this, I believe, is the actual. Was this an original pattern, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most people refer to it as the bowling pin.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
it looks like a bowling pin,
Yeah.
and it's just it's a real handy knife. I'm with you on the Warncliffe blades. I think they're way overrated, and I think they're way overproduced.
Right.
I don't have a whole lot in my collection.
Now, the ones that I'm really excited to show you personally are going to be these marble exhibition grade knives.
Oh, wow. Notice they keep moving them over there.
So
okay.
we'll show this one first. Now, in case that might remind you of something, I just showed you one from my collection, an older Colt 175th anniversary.
Yeah.
So it's got very similar checkering on that. It's got the gun stock checkering.
I got a Winchester toothpick in this gun stock checkering.
Yep.
With the same line here. It's so it has been around,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't have the marbles bullet on there. But marbles with a bullet. Okay. Got a hole in there again. I said.
I think Brian knew you were going to say that.
I did.
You know, to be honest, Brian, I'm one of those weird people who actually, at first, I look at something like that and I don't want the lanyard hole in certain knives. But if you ever hear me talk, it's like, this would be great if it had a lanyard hole. And then it shows up, it's like, why did they put a lanyard hole in there? It's like, because you said it'd be great if it had a lanyard hole.
Right.
And now it's not a standard trapper either. Well, it didn't have standard trapper blades either.
Right.
What is this, 4 1/4, 4 1/8?
4 and 8, I believe.
Now I
But
saved.
it's almost a cross between a standard and a saddle horn, though, the way it's flipping up there at the very end. Oh, I see. I saw that. You're hiding it for. Oh, wow.
I saved that one for last on purpose. I did that on purpose.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. And this one has a pull of about around 5 or 6, I'd say. What would you say? Let's see. Let's do a pull test here.
I'm good. So this is one of those things that we've talked about here, and I gotta be honest with you. We've kind of made fun of that because I'm like, where do they get this scale? How do you?
It's 1 of a 10, and to me, it's like the weakest one is where you can just go, look,
And
it came out,
and it flies
and
out
a
by
10 is like, hold on, let me get the vice grips. over here.
You're bending your nails back. Okay.
And you notice my nail. There's
Right.
no nail there. You don't need a nail to open a knife if you know what you're doing. But no, this is a good thing though. I'm saying it's about 5 or 6.
Okay.
You give me what you think it is.
I would say about a 5.5, 6, somewhere in there. Yeah. If we're
we got
going
2
on that.
people over here.
Yeah.
Let's.
Come over.
There's 3 people. I want them all to just give it a pull and say what you think.
I'm hourly.
Scale of 1 to 10, difficulty.
Of all the knives you've ever pulled open,
I think it's a little bit easier because it's such a big blade.
Yeah.
So
But
it's yeah. I'll go 6.5. Be different.
I already know.
you already know. I know you made it. So, but where would you say?
I'd say about a 5.5.
Yeah. See, that's why I said about a 5 or a 6. Now I have a Winchester that's almost identical to this at home. It's about a 3 or 4, and
Now-
that's because I can grab that thing like that and I can flick it and it'll flip over.
yeah.
This I cannot do that.
And I will say, for a back spring that long and a blade that big, it's impressive to have that kind of resistance. But it's also confidence inspiring. It's reassuring.
Yeah, and the thing that you've got a thin handle, really. For a toothpick, that's a thin handle still, and you got a thin blade. It's
Yeah.
a skinny blade, and you got this long back spring. Now that back spring is probably, if that back spring was on a canoe and you were trying to open a canoe, that thing would be like a 7 or an 8 on a
Yeah.
canoe.
Oh, yeah.
But you can only have the spring so wide on there.
Right.
And that's why toothpicks, especially long toothpicks, are notoriously
Soft spring.
soft spring.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a 5.5 inches, isn't it? We can find out.
What do you got in your pockets? Let's do a pocket dump here. Oh,
You
you
would
got
not
the
think I would
stonework.
care. And I've been carrying this thing for a couple months. You go ahead and figure it out. You can look at it and you can see I've been using it, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's show that one right there.
It gets carried. People say, well, the stones are going to fall off and everything. I've been carrying it for a couple months now, no problem. But you
Yep.
can see, 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you open this one, you can tell this is about a 5. This is a little
Yep.
weaker than that one. You felt it a minute.
Just slightly, yeah.
So it's really easy to figure it out, and but everyone's going to have their own personal taste on what
Right.
it is, and so as someone said 6.5. Well, maybe it is 6.5 for them, but it's not for me.
Right.
And that's something that people got. Oh, let's see if I
It's
can
open to interpretation.
Yeah, let's put it there. Hey, I'm almost becoming an expert, huh?
So, what else have you got in your pocket? Let's go ahead and do a pocket dump right here. What'd you bring?
I'm not showing my phone and notice it's cracked. Did you see where it came out of? And that toothpick always rides in that pocket. But I got something else over here that I brought with me, and I showed you this
Yep,
because that I always carry, and that's my Explorer. I replaced
that's
the
a
covers
good
on
one
it.
right there.
I carry it because it's got this, and with this, I can actually read the tanks. And when I go
That's
to the,
slick right there. I hadn't even thought about that.
that's the whole reason. It's like I need this because I got that. And when I go to the flea market and something looking for knives, it's like they's talking. Well, there we go. And it's like boom. I don't want that one. But I replaced the scales on there, so I have the ink
Pen.
pen
Yep.
and the screwdriver
Yep.
for the eyeglasses, and where a Phillips screwdriver belongs, which is at the end of the knife.
Exactly.
So you actually have room to do stuff.
Yep.
I
Not
don't-
T-handled.
Yeah,
If you need that much torque on a Phillips, you need an actual screwdriver.
yeah, that's my opinion too. And then what else do I have? I have an Essie over there, but keys. See, I do carry one. It's always there. It's a whistle. Don't leave home without a whistle, especially in bear country.
Right?
And that's my midnight manager.
Yep.
You're blinded now, right? It's not nearly as good as like a lightsaber, but bottle opener. So got a bottle opener there too, or a cap lifter. But that's the main reason I carry that, because this does not have a nail file,
Right.
and I need a nail file. I wish they would start doing that, putting a nail file on their. They did with what is that? The companion, the one
Yep.
that just came out.
Yep.
They put a nail file on there, which was great. And then a P38, and I've had this P38 since 1980. Wow. Been on there since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Notice how easy it opens up.
Yep.
Guess how many times I've had a hole in my pocket and a gash at the side of my leg with that thing. But yeah, keys, and then had to be in there.
Nice.
Yeah, and,
Azula.
and I just picked up its little brother today. But yeah, I got all the parts for this here. The Azula, the micarta handles. I got the other part at home. Am I in focus? Okay, yeah. And the reason I grabbed this is because I always bring a knife with me when I'm going on a trip.
Right.
And this one just works really well, and it fits nicely on the side here, and I can put it in my pocket if I want to. So, and then what else do I have here? The one I always carry, but I brought another one also, but this one I always carry.
Nice.
Dragonfly, and you can tell it's definitely carried.
Yep.
And notice it's set up for left-handed because I'm left-handed. And it's tight, but it drops. And I brought this one just because it's like, I got to bring something other than the Dragonfly. And I was going to just bring this, but pair of three.
Nice.
I'll carry the pair of three. And can I Spidey flick?
There we go.
In left hand,
Yep.
it'll drop, especially if you just flip the wire around.
Yep. See,
Because then I got my fingers over there and it's out of the way.
there's a lot of lefties that complain about the compression lock not being ambidextrous,
It's-
but you actuated that perfectly.
Yeah, and the thing was, a person actually sells a piece of plastic that you can super glue on the side of this for like $30. And I saw that, and it's like, well, I can just cut a piece of wood and super glue it on there and save myself a lot of money.
Right.
And then, as soon as I flipped the clip around for left-hand carry, it's like, well, wait a minute.
It gives you that purchase there that you need.
Yeah, and my fingers are definitely out of the way. I know they're not going to get hit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's people look to complain for no reason. I
Right.
guess.
I tell you what, I love your EDC philosophy. And that's something that I haven't really taken into consideration a lot because I know how I think about things when I prepare what I'm going to carry for the day. But actually listening to you and give the reason why you carry specific things, there's a purpose. And I don't think I've ever really thought about it in those terms necessarily. I've always thought about it in my own terms, but it's interesting hearing someone else's EDC philosophy, so to speak. So that might be something that we have to visit in a video at some point.
You want to see my emergency kit?
Absolutely, I do.
It's not going to be what you expect. Well, first of all, I got some stuff here that I got to break out. That's something else. But all right,
Knife chats with Tobias.
yeah. That way no one steals it. They see that and like, what the heck is that? You're not going to believe what's in here because you what? What do you expect to see in here?
Maybe some Band-Aids. I don't know what else.
All right,
Okay.
that's because they're from Tobias.
So
I
some
got
matches.
a wipe.
Got a little Cabela's multi-tool.
Yeah, and that's because you never know when you're going to need another light. Let's see if it lights. Okay,
Yep.
it lights. The other thing I always say you need, which is nail clippers.
Yep.
I think these are things I actually end up using when I'm somewhere. It's like, I wish I had some nail clips. So I
Right.
have nail clips. And this, which I'll explain, a lighter, a paper clip, because MacGyver said so.
I was actually going to say a paperclip just a second ago, and I was like, that's going to sound stupid.
And this is a rosary, so that, because basically when the stuff hits the fan, you might want to pray. But this is the only other thing that I have found useful. And if you notice, there's knots in here.
Right.
And it's
So we've got a knot
because
here.
this is a 12-foot length ruler, because I need to measure stuff all the time. It's like, and I never have a ruler with me. So I got a 12-foot ruler here.
With
and
knots every 12 inches?
No, every 12 inches until I get down to the last foot, and then it's every inch. And it was really tricky doing, but it was fun doing it. And it's like, now I've got a ruler, and it takes
That's-
up no space.
Interesting.
And if worse comes to worse, I got a fishing line. But at the same time, if I'm out in the woods and I'm fishing, I already have all my fishing gear, so all I need is this also.
Right.
So I just throw this with whatever I'm going. Because if I'm out in the woods, I have other stuff on me. And it's like, what knife do you keep in your bug out bag? It's like, well, I'm not going to have the bug out bag with me all the time, so these knives better
Right.
work. And
Exactly.
many of people have said that. What's the knife that you need in an emergency? The one you have on you.
Exactly.
So,
I love it.
but and yeah, it's not much. And the battery's going to die on my flashlight. See, they got me all nervous here. I'm not in front of my own studio, and Skip's not here serving me rum. Wait till you see Skip tomorrow. If you watch it, oh man. I tell you, that's the thing. The thing that, if anything on my show that gets me, is the lack of viewership with Skip the Show's Fun Night Friday. I'm like, more people should be watching this, because, and I think they think that, all right, this is just a goofball, but if you ever watch it, actually, there's a lot of information in there that's worthwhile. Tomorrow's going to be great, though.
So, Tobias, tell everybody where they can find you.
Knife Chats at Tobias on YouTube. Type in Knife Chats at Tobias and it should come up.
Absolutely.
Or Tobias Gibson.
And we're talking the premier aficionado on the history of Rough Rider. I mean, you've been collecting Rough Riders for years now.
Yeah.
Actually, I was up in purchasing. Tom and Josh both remember you.
Okay.
From the cable TV days.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh yeah, I remember Tobias. Absolutely."
Yeah, I buzzed too.
So I mean, you've been around these knives in this company for a really long time. We really appreciate your loyalty, but we know that we appreciate your honesty too. That's one of the things that is paramount to us, and we know that you're loyal because we try to keep working on and making good products. So
Well, I know I've called you out a couple times.
that's all right. We all need that from time to time.
Well, I've been called out too, and I appreciate it. You can only learn from your mistakes if somebody points them out to you.
Exactly. Tobias, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. We appreciate it. Folks, stay tuned for more from our channel. As always, it's been me, TC, here from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com. Remember, if it cuts like one of Tobias's Rough Riders, or his Spydercos, or his Victorinox, then we carry it.